I don't know, Tuesday night, you're in the shower, you've had a long day, you're rinsing out your conditioner, you look down at your hands, and just panic.
The hairball.
The hairball. Or maybe you run a brush through your hair in the morning and it looks like you've just groomed a shedding golden retriever.
Yeah.
It's that instant sinking feeling of, oh no, am I going bald?
Right? Is this normal?
Do I need to buy that $100 shampoo I saw on Instagram?
It is a universal anxiety, but honestly, most of the time, that panic leads us to completely the wrong solutions because we don't actually understand what's happening biologically. We're trying to fix a chemistry problem with a surface-level solution.
Exactly. And that is our mission today. We are moving way beyond buy this shampoo. We are doing a deep dive into the actual biology of the scalp, the internal factory that produces hair, and we're going to look at a specific stack of research articles from trichologists, medical reviews, and some really interesting data on a supplement called Nutrilite Biotin C Plus.
And what really stands out in all these sources is that hair health isn't just one thing. It's a two-front war. You have the external environment, your scalp, which is like the soil, and you have the internal supply chain.
I love that. The soil and the supply chain. But before we get into the gardening metaphors, we have to start with that panic moment in the shower. Because one of the first things I learned from these sources is that not all hair fall is created equal.
Right. This is probably the most critical distinction to make before you buy anything.
Yeah.
You have to know the difference between hair loss and hair breakage.
I always thought they were the same thing. Hair falls off head, lands on the floor. End of story.
Not quite. The sources describe a very simple diagnostic test you can do. If you pick up a fallen hair, go on, find one on your sweater right now. Look really closely at the end. Do you see a tiny white bulb?
Okay, like a little white dot at the very end of the strand.
Yes. If that bulb is there, that hair shed from the root. That is hair loss. That means the hair cycle finished, or maybe was interrupted and the follicle let go. That's an internal systemic issue.
Okay, and if there's no white bulb?
Then the hair snapped. That is hair breakage. That's structural. That means your hair was dry or damaged, or you pulled it too hard and it just snapped mid-shaft, like a dry twig.
That is a huge difference, because if I'm stressing about hair loss, but I'm actually just snapping my hair off with a flat iron,
Yeah,
a pill isn't going to fix that.
precisely. You want to fix the frizz, but you need to fix the follicle. You have to diagnose the problem first. If it's breakage, you need a bit of conditioner and less heat. If it's loss, if you see that bulb, we need to look inside the body.
So let's assume we want to create the best possible environment for hair to grow. We have to start with the scalp, the soil.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You can't grow a prize-winning rose in concrete, right? Your scalp is living tissue. It has a microbiome. It regulates itself with sebum, which is oil, and it relies on blood flow.
Now, speaking of sebum and oil,
Yeah.
this is where we hit our first major aha moment for me, because I feel like the internet is constantly telling us to oil our scalps, soak your head in coconut oil, leave it overnight, get that hydration.
And the sources we read are practically screaming, stop!
Why? I thought oil was moisture.
It's controversial, but the trichologist sources are very clear on this. While oiling is a huge cultural tradition, biologically, it can backfire. Big time.
How?
Well, oil isn't moisture, it's a sealant. But the bigger issue is a fungus called Malassezia.
That sounds like a villain in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
The Malassezia Chronicles.
It's a yeast-like fungus that naturally lives on everyone's scalp. Yours, mine, everyone listening. But here's the thing. It's lipophilic. It feeds on lipids. It feeds on oil.
So, wait. When you slather your scalp in oil and leave it there,
You are setting up an all-you-can-eat buffet for this fungus. And when the fungus feasts, it produces waste products, specifically oleic acid, that irritate the skin barrier.
and I'm guessing that's bad.
It causes inflammation, itching, and dandruff. Seborrheic dermatitis is often linked to this. So the advice is, cleanse the scalp regularly. Don't add more oil to the fire. Remove the buildup.
That completely flips the script on the whole dirty hair is healthy hair trend.
To an extent, yeah. You don't want to strip it raw, but you can't let sebum and product build up. And while we're on the shower, we have to talk about the water itself.
Hard water. I saw this.
Yeah.
Calcium and magnesium.
If you live in an area with hard water, those minerals deposit onto the scalp. It creates a film. It can actually clog the follicle opening and make the hair feel brittle.
So it's like lime scale on a kettle, but on your head.
Effectively, yes. And there was one more thing from the sources about the external environment that really surprised me. High-growth fatigue.
High-growth fatigue.
Yeah.
It sounds exhausted already.
It's basically moisture overload. The sources warn against keeping your hair wet for long periods, sitting around in a wet towel for 2 hours or sleeping with your hair in a wet bun.
Guilty. I do the wet bun all the time.
Bad idea. When hair gets wet, it swells, the cuticle lifts. If it stays wet too long, the cortex swells and contracts over and over again. It puts stress on the structure.
So the hair literally gets tired.
Exactly. Plus, a warm, wet scalp is a breeding ground for bacteria and our friend Malassezia. So the takeaway is dry your scalp, don't let it marinate.
Okay, so keep the scalp clean, don't feed the fungus, watch for hard water, and dry your hair. That's the soil. Now I want to move to the factory, the internal biology.
This is where it gets fascinating, because to understand hair growth, we have to understand the body's priority list.
And unfortunately, hair is not at the top of that list.
Far from it. Biologically speaking, hair is non-essential tissue.
Rude. I consider it very essential.
Your mirror considers it essential.
Yeah.
Your metabolism considers it a luxury. If you are stressed or you aren't eating enough, your body says, okay, we need to keep the heart pumping. We don't have the budget for hair right now. And it cuts off the supply chain to the follicles first.
So hair loss is basically a distress signal.
It's the canary in the coal mine. It's the first thing to go. That's why crash diets often lead to shedding a few months later. Your body is just allocating resources to keep you alive.
Okay, so let's talk about the building blocks of that factory. We hear these buzzwords all the time. Carotene and biotin. Are they the same thing?
No, and understanding the difference explains why you need both. Think of a construction site. Keratin is the brick. It is the actual structural protein that makes up the hair strand.
Okay, keratin is the brick.
Biotin, which is vitamin B7, is the construction worker, or maybe the machinery. Biotin helps metabolize the amino acids so your body can build the keratin.
So you can have a pile of bricks, but if you don't have the workers, the biotin, the wall doesn't get built.
Precisely. And to make those keratin bricks, you need specific amino acids. The sources highlight two big ones, cysteine and methionine.
Cysteine, that's the one that creates those bonds, right?
Yes, the disulfide bonds. They give hair its strength. It's rich in sulfur, which is why burnt hair has that distinct smell.
And methionine.
Methionine is an essential amino acid. Your body cannot make it, you must eat it. And your body uses methionine to make cysteine. So if you're missing that one link, the whole factory can grind to a halt.
It's a complex little factory we have running there.
It is. Which leads us to the specific nutrient cocktail we're looking at today from the Nutrilite Biotin C Plus supplement data.
Right, and looking at the ingredient list, it seems like they've targeted what we're calling the big four nutrients for hair. We've touched on biotin, but let's go deeper.
Okay, biotin first. As we said, vitamin B7. Its main job is metabolizing fats and proteins into energy for hair growth.
And the source says it's water-soluble. Why does that matter?
It matters because your body doesn't store it. Fat-soluble vitamins like D get stored in your tissues. Water-soluble vitamins are, well, they're use it or lose it. Your body uses what it needs and excretes the rest.
So I can't just load up on a Sunday and be good for the week.
No. You need a consistent daily intake to keep the workers on the job site.
Now, I saw a warning in the medical review about biotin and lab tests. This feels really important.
It is very important. While biotin is generally safe, high levels of it in your blood can interfere with certain lab tests, specifically thyroid tests and cardiac markers like troponin.
Troponin. Isn't that what they use to diagnose a heart attack?
It is. The biotin doesn't cause the heart attack, but it can mess with the test strips they use to detect it.
Yeah.
So if you are taking a hair supplement and you go to the doctor,
Tell them.
you have to tell them, I take biotin. It's an easy fix for the lab, but they need to know.
Okay, good safety tip.
Yeah.
Nutrient number 2 in the Nutrilite profile, vitamin C. I think of this for, fighting a cold. Why is it in a hair supplement?
Two big reasons. First, you need vitamin C to produce collagen. Collagen is like the scaffolding for your scalp. If the tissue is weak, the follicle isn't anchored well.
And the second reason?
The iron connection.
Right, iron.
Iron deficiency is a massive cause of hair loss, especially in women, but iron is hard to absorb. Vitamin C acts as a helper. It changes the iron into a form your body can actually use.
So vitamin C is the delivery system that makes sure the iron actually gets to the follicle.
Exactly. The Nutrilite source specifically mentions acerola cherry concentrate for this.
Why acerola?
It's just an incredibly potent plant-based source of vitamin C. But it also provides phytonutrients, antioxidants that protect the cells from stress.
Okay, nutrient number 3, zinc.
Zinc is the mechanic. It's crucial for tissue repair. If your scalp is inflamed, zinc helps fix it. But it also regulates the oil glands.
So if you had that oily scalp we talked about, the one feeding the fungus.
Zinc helps balance that production. A deficiency is very strongly linked to shedding. It's about keeping the machinery running smoothly.
And finally, number 4. This one surprised me. Beta-carotene.
Yeah, beta-carotene is a precursor to vitamin A.
Why not just put vitamin A in the pill?
This is a really smart formulation choice. Preformed vitamin A like retinol can be toxic in high doses. And paradoxically, too much vitamin A can actually cause hair loss.
Wait, really? The thing that helps it grow can also make it fall out?
Yes, it overstimulates the follicle, pushing it into the shedding phase too early.
So how does beta-carotene solve that?
Beta-carotene is safer because your body only converts it into vitamin A as needed. It's a self-regulating system.
Yeah.
Your body takes what it needs and leaves the rest.
That is clever. And the source mentioned something about sun protection from within.
Photoprotection. Beta-carotene accumulates in the skin and helps protect against UV radiation. The part in your hair gets a lot of sun, you know.
It does. I've definitely burned my scalp there.
Exactly. So this acts as a kind of internal shield.
So we have biotin for the machinery, vitamin C for collagen and iron, zinc for repair, and beta-carotene for safe vitamin A and protection.
That's the synergy. It's not just random vitamins. It's covering the entire pathway.
So let's look at the specific solution here. Nutrilite Biotin C Plus. The source calls it a beauty from within formula.
Which is exactly what we've been discussing. You can't just treat the outside.
Okay, so let's run the stats. What are you getting in a daily dose?
According to the data, one tablet has 40 micrograms of biotin. That's 100% of the recommended daily allowance.
Okay, hitting the daily goal.
It's got 65 milligrams of vitamin C, 13.2 milligrams of zinc, and 25 milligrams of beta-carotene.
And it mentions it targets brittle nails and dull skin too.
Right, because it's all connected. Biotin and collagen are just as important for nail structure and skin elasticity. The factory builds all three.
And the usage?
One tablet daily with a meal.
With a meal. Why?
Better absorption. Especially for the beta-carotene, which is fat-soluble, it needs a little bit of dietary fat to be absorbed properly. If you take it on an empty stomach with water, you're kind of wasting it.
Okay, so we have the science, we have the ingredients, but now we need the reality check. Because I think we've all taken a supplement for 3 days, looked in the mirror, and said, why don't I look like Rapunzel yet?
We need to manage expectations. Hair is painfully slow.
How slow are we talking?
It grows about half an inch a month. That's it. The sources are really clear that you will not see results in a week. You likely won't even see them in a month.
So what's the actual timeline?
You need to commit to at least 4 to 12 weeks to see a visible change. And remember, you're affecting the new growth, the hair that's already grown out. That's dead tissue. You're improving the quality of the next batch.
That makes sense. You're feeding the root, not the ends.
Exactly. And there's another rule the sources mention, the deficiency rule.
What's that?
Supplements work best when they're correcting a gap. If you already have perfect nutrition and zero stress, adding more biotin won't necessarily give you super hair.
But, I mean, who has perfect nutrition and zero stress?
Exactly. That's the point. Most of us have gaps. Stress depletes vitamin C. Alcohol depletes B vitamins. This is positioned to bridge that gap, to prevent the decline.
And we have to circle back to that synergy concept, the internal versus the external.
This is the most critical takeaway. You can take the Nutrilite Biotin C Plus every day, but if you then go rip a brush through soaking wet hair,
Or fry it with a 400-degree iron.
you're just breaking the healthy hair you just grew. You're sabotaging your own work.
So it's a partnership. You need the internal building blocks, the biotin and zinc to grow strong hair, but you need gentle external care microfiber towels, lower heat to keep that hair.
Precisely. You can't rely on just the pill, and you can't rely on just the conditioner.
Okay, let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground from the fungus on our scalp to the machinery inside the follicle.
To summarize, hair health is a two-front war. Protect the shaft from breakage externally, and feed the follicle for growth internally.
And the Nutrilite Biotin C Plus is designed to cover that internal front, giving you the biotin, Vit-C, zinc, and beta-carotene to keep the factory running.
It's about ensuring the body has enough resources to go around so it doesn't have to view your hair as non-essential.
And for our final call to action for everyone listening, check the bulb.
Yes. Next time you see a hair on your sweater, look at the end. If it has that little white bulb, look at your diet, your stress, your internal health. If it doesn't, look at your hairbrush and your heat tools.
That is such a practical tip. I'm going to do that tonight.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. We joke about hair being vanity, but biologically, it's a barometer.
What do you mean by that?
If your body cuts off supply to your hair first when it's under stress or malnourished,
Mm-hmm.
then hair loss isn't just a cosmetic issue. It's a message.
A message from your metabolism.
Exactly. So if you are losing hair, don't just ask, how do I fix my look? Ask, what is my body trying to tell me about my health right now?
That is a powerful place to end. Listen to your hair. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive. Take care of that scalp.